The following podcast may contain spoilers.
Hello, dear listeners, and welcome again to Treading the Path of the Heaven.
What up?
The heaven? Just the one? Just that one heaven?
I mean, we lost the heavens because this is the redo.
Our name, like the Tao, is ephemeral and ever-changing.
Look inside your heart. However the name is in your heart is how the name is.
Have we finally had our breakthrough? Now that we're on 11, we broke through the 10th. Are we saints now?
We're on episode 1 again?
I think so. Yeah, no, we've become the one that is now greater than the previous 10 combined.
Yes!
We've achieved perfection and taken the extra step to break through. Becoming a real podcast after having broken through 10 episodes, as everyone knows.
So if this was I Shall Sail the Heavens, we'll start forming Tao pillars with each episode.
Well, I mean, if the first step was key condensation, then now we would be in core formation.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. Oh, no. Yeah, no, foundation establishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, foundation establishment.
Foundation. Establishment. Go.
Anyway, I am your host, Jonathan Kinney, joined as always by my co-hosts.
I'm Richard.
I'm Bill.
And our perennial guest.
I'm
and
not a host.
Occasional guest host.
I was that one time. I'm Seth. Hi, I'm Seth.
Bum, bum, ba-dum.
Bum.
I was once. One time I was a host.
Yeah, last week we covered Emperor's Domination, request by Red Mage Summoner, and this week we are on again with a Japanese novel by the name of Tensei Shitara Slime Datta Ken.
Oh, man.
What's that mean? What's that mean in English?
Well, no,
Basically, it means like that one time I was reincarnated as a slime.
yeah, pretty much.
That kind of.
I like these conversational titles. What's the last
It's a
one that we
very
did?
Japanese concept.
The last Japanese book that we did had a very conversational title
Kumo
too.
Desu Ga.
Nanika. Yeah.
Nanika.
Now I'm a spider, so what now?
Yeah. Very conversational
Yeah,
titles.
but these are like the nice conversational ones. These are before like the attack of, the super duper long.
Oh,
Is it
yeah,
okay for us to
name.
pick up girls in a dungeon?
Or my mental choices are getting in the way of my...
that is,
Romantic teen
I
comedy
actually
stuff.
enjoy that one.
that
though.
was a better show than it should have
way
been.
better than it deserves to be. Or like, or and then they have like the big offenders like in another world with my smartphone or.
Hey man, whatever.
or what that guy suggested us to read Ari Furita or whatever, and now has a way longer title than I care to waste my time explaining.
Honestly, like my hope is that for every one of these get made, that we get like another King's Avatar, or like we start getting things like Desolate Era or cool things like that. Like if something like that started happening, I would be totally okay. I would just accept it as the moe of our generation.
You gotta pay the cost for every great thing we get. For every Overlord season 2 we will have 1,000 garbage.
I learned this lesson on an ancient PC game called Majesty. If your kingdom gets big enough, sewers just automatically start appearing. You can't get rid of them. Necessary evil.
No, good to know.
They just spawn enemy rats in the middle of your civilization. It sucks.
Free
Makes
XP though. If you're
Yeah.
an adventurer.
Well, you're not, though. You're actually just the king. You could just set bounties on things and, like, collect taxes and, like, set up warriors guilds and shit. Fascinating game, actually. You had no controls over the heroes and the NPCs. It was a RTS with no control over the units.
Wow, that sounds. I'm gonna check that out.
Where is that playable? What is that playable on?
I mean, it's just Majesty. I'm 100% sure you could find a copy of it somewhere. It's, like, an old game, like, 90s game.
Okay. I'm going to check that out. That sounds like fun.
Google it.
But yeah, that is not the purpose of our podcast this week. We are going to be talking about, that time that one guy that virgin in Japan got reincarnated as a slime.
Why is everybody a virgin? It always seems like these guys are virgins.
That, my friend Seth, is a trope.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well,
You sound so tired.
I sound tired because I've been reading TVTropes all day.
Oh no!
Don't fall into this trope trap that I am about to throw at your feet. Are you ready, dear listener?
So wait, if there's a trope of trapping people in tropes, is it the trope trap trope?
I don't
No,
know if
it
it's
would have a
trope
different
yet,
name.
but I don't think that would
You
just
could
be a
find
trap.
it out in TV tropes.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about, and we will continue to talk a lot about a concept called tropes. They're kind of like repeatable ideas in a story, kind of like a meme, but in storytelling. like a thing that shows up repeatedly in other kinds of like storytelling media. So it could be in a book or a movie or a TV show.
And it could be any number of things. It could be, for instance, like a type of character that commonly shows up, like the dragon, the second in command of a villain who's more powerful than him, but under his control for some reason. Or it could be
ridiculous situation.
You know, they'll always be in your party of 5, your band. You have your leader, your dark horse, your lancer, who's always a foil for the main character.
Typical Sentai.
You gotta love like the literary device, man. You know, that's all a trope is.
It is
just a literary
devices.
device.
Yeah, it is devices through all the different media. It's they're fun. We talk about them a lot. You should go learn about them if you don't already know about them. But I kind of feel like
it's an important thing to have knowledge about if you're going to be talking about like talking about media or thinking about how to create.
As a gross liberal arts major, aka English major, I love tropes. I lived on TVTropes for many years of my
website.
life.
I try not to like stare into the abyss, for I fear it will stare back.
That's all I've been doing today.
But
it's been bad.
But the fun thing about Japanese light novels, you'll find even the ones that are like super shoujo, super casual life is lots of isekai.
Okay,
another world.
Explain what was the other thing you just said too? Shoujo. I feel like they must know.
Shoujo
just
explained literally means like young girl.
Young girls. It's like shonen is young boy.
So it's like
it's a demographic.
It's like
it's
girly stories.
It's a demographic, literally.
I mean, like there's action-y shoujos, but shoujos usually have a couple things that appear. But you'll notice in the web novels and light novels, they all have one trope, and they're all isekai. They just all are. Most of them are.
Ooh, I think I saw a video on YouTube about all the things being isekai now.
Like all
the
things?
It is actually. Yeah, I think I saw the same video he was talking about. It was just basically describing how the isekai genre has become very popular in the current anime seasons.
I mean, that's because that's all the stuff they can pull from now is everything that comes out and gets popular. It's just in another world.
Yeah.
In another world, either the reincarnation or they're there. And when I really think about it, this in another world genre has been around for so long. Like when I think of Escaflowne is an in another world genre.
I mean, it feels like a lot of
so
that.
is Digimon
or Inuyasha. Like it's a very old story.
Old, and it's had this resurgence with the internet, and all of these writers having access to people to read and publish easily.
Well, I mean, like typically, I don't know, like all of those older stories seem to have like a parallel connection. Like Inuyasha had a world that was right beside our world. Whereas a lot of these modern isekai are just like, it's a one-way street. You're just kind of not on Earth anymore. You're there.
But the beauty of it is they all seem to end, at least the ones that are poorly written or the ones that have the main character accomplishes everything they need to accomplish. They eventually gather or garner away to, if they wanted to, go back where they needed to go because they all exist within the same sphere of control.
That's it. I just looked up the trope of what this is called, and it is just trapped in another world.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's a huge TV trope page.
Like, think about the hottest, some of the hottest animes since last year. ReZero, light novel, isekai. Konosuba makes fun of most isekai.
Exactly.
So that's why it's so fun.
It's such a huge genre that they have the counter genre, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have all the parodies and the satire.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's so saturating the market that it's now about how can you invert the core concepts or the tropes of the
That's why I love Kumo Desu Ga, because it does that towards the middle and then for the rest of that. Well, from the beginning, it's kind of different, and then it flips the script multiple times because it knows where it is existing.
I mean, even immediately from the beginning, it hits those notes because, like, Kumiko seems genre savvy. Like, she immediately is like, oh, I'm a tiny spider. I need to go check for a human footprint to see how big I am.
Yeah.
Like, she keeps trying to game the system, and then the game immediately punishes her and is like, no, this world sucks.
I feel like we're talking about a book we already talked about.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
No, but this is all contextualizing things and leading into our beautiful book, Tensei Shitara Slime Date Ken, which if you go to novel updates, you'll see this interesting summary. Bill,
A man is stabbed by a robber on the run after pushing his coworker and his coworker's new fiancée out of the way. As he lays dying, bleeding on the ground, he hears a voice. This voice is strange and interprets his dying regret of being a virgin by giving him the Great Sage unique skill. Is he being made fun of?
That doesn't sound like a full story.
Because it's not. It's like the summary of like the first page.
That's what that sounds like. Yeah,
That's what it is.
That's
Okay.
that's like a pitch that you would throw.
It's
at
like
a
an
director.
epilogue, like paragraph.
And see, that's why we had this lead up, my dear friend Seth, my dear
10 minutes
guest,
of lead up. 10 minutes of lead up, dear
because
listener.
that contextualizes how most of these novels start off. Now, Tensei Shitara Slime by the Kin is one of those that isn't bad. It's really good and really does things, but in ways that make you go, okay, maybe I can read this, because not only do we have a character that like a lot of isekai dies a virgin, and usually they die a virgin and they acquire a harem in the next world. They do a bunch of other things, or they're typical Japanese beta MC. This guy isn't that. He reincarnates into a genderless slime.
Like we're talking like Dragon Quest, little blue smiley monster, except
Little blue smiley monster.
Minus
you
the face.
Grind. Yes. He doesn't even have a face. He's just like a ball of slime. He can create whatever he needs. Fun, like that reminds me of a fun story that happens later as he vastly grows in power, where he's sitting there and he's eating Japanese food
because
because he created this country, and in the country he used his knowledge of science in his great sage, or at this point it becomes Wisdom King Solomon, to help him modify the flora and fauna of this area to create rice. Though he makes perfect rice, it's just black now because that's all they have. And like,
I love the constant
sushi.
quest of Japanese characters and isekai to make Japanese food. I know there was a manga I read about people in Japan getting like transported to a fantasy world, like orc world. Then there's like this that happened sort of online. Like it was like, I've perfected it after months of experimenting. I've made soy sauce, and they were so excited about it. It's like,
could find 19 different flavors to make soy sauce.
Look, man, Japanese food, tenkaichi.
But he's there, and while he's eating, he's like, I don't need to eat, and also I don't need to breathe either. So poison doesn't bother me. I could create lungs in myself, but it serves no purpose. Like, he just thinks about that casually, like, oh, that's kind of weird. But like, it's this character is a monster, like literally a monster.
Yeah.
Figuratively a monster later. And it is a great ride as a man goes from being a tiny slime to being a demon king that also runs a country.
like runs a country. This again, Dragon Quest slime. Like, what the fuck?
Oh,
Yeah, how are we getting there?
It is a great trip. Okay.
Well, I mean, we do have king slimes in the Dragon Quest.
Yeah, but like they're usually hiding in a cave, not in a castle.
This is a slime that created a village, named all of the wolves and the orcs in the area. They all swore allegiance to them. They got more powerful and evolved because they became named, and then they continued moving forward. That's one thing I'm skipping.
That's a fun fantasy trope.
I need to comment on names.
Yeah, please.
Because naming in the story is super interesting. Names are power in the story. People are born, humans are born, animals are born, monsters are born.
Okay.
They're not born with names. There's things you can call people, but they're not born officially named.
Okay.
To name someone is to break and imbue a piece of your magic, of your very soul, into someone to gain them power.
So you do it at a negative to yourself?
Huge negative to yourself. Permanent negative to yourself.
So like when you're saying naming, do you mean it's like a title or like
giving someone a name? Say you meet a goblin, right? Everybody goes, oh, this is Go Buddha. But, because we want to not call everyone goblin. And you are an idiot, right? Say you're from here. You're like, I'm going to give, yeah, man, what's your name? I'm just a goblin. They call me Go Buddha. But what's your name? I don't have one. I'll give you a name. I'll just call you Gobi. Oh, it hurts. Because you named him. Because your own potential just got put onto him partially because you named him. You know how in D&D they have true names, and knowing a true name is having great power?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. And it's amazing because you'll meet someone who's a garbage, and I don't know, a bad guy or some demon lord or something will name him, and he's suddenly a monster.
So is it like, are we talking like hero units from like Warcraft?
I guess this puts hero units into.
I was gonna say that sounds like a.
Yeah, like I played EverQuest, I played WoW. You know, oh, when I kill this name, it's rare spawn is a name.
It's got a name, so thus it must be worth more, or it must be stronger than the other ones.
Yeah.
Like
At least drops loot.
yeah.
Or it's the Diablo 3, like the named mobs and shit. That
Pretty much. And our main character, our wonderful slime here, Remuru Tempest, he didn't know that naming is something hard and something you shouldn't do. He didn't know this, and he proceeds to name every single person born in his country. Constantly naming people.
It's like does he like not feel the effects? Like what's
At first, like after he named a few thousand people, he was tired.
Well, like
And then
is
he
it a
rested,
diminishing
and then he was
effect?
fine. No. Most people can only name a few people in their entire lifetime, and these are powerful people. Our little slime is special. Okay, so our main character, he's a classic Japanese man.
Okay.
Japan man.
He went to school, went to college, had his heart broken, gave up on women, worked hard.
Yeah, I had a friend who was stationed in Japan, and he referred to Japanese salarymen as people who would work their fingers to the bone, work their bones to dust, and then try and sell you the powder.
Sounds about right.
This guy was pretty good at his job. He had Kohai, who secretly hated him, so they're going out in the street.
So you know he's doing something right.
He's doing something right.
Yeah, he's got people under
being lonely, you know, but doing something right. He's hanging out with his Kohai. Kohai brings his girlfriend with him, his new fiance, and she's kind of cute. I mean, later in the story, she ain't that cute, but I mean, yeah, pretty good design here, man.
I mean,
pretty
you said
good.
it's the first page, so later in the story being like 3 paragraphs later, like what?
No, like later in the story being like several, like a volume later.
Well, once
Wait.
you have a kingdom of people to choose
He
from,
spends a volume
there's
just
gonna be
being
hotter
a dude.
bitches.
Like you realize that, like a book, basically just being a slime, living as a slime, existing as a slime, not being able to see. When
So he works his way back to Earth to like be mean at this woman?
No, not at all.
No, it's
These
in
people aren't
comparison to other people.
Oh, I see.
He's just got a kingdom of worth of beauties to
Yeah,
choose
yeah,
from.
yeah.
So this,
Oh, I
this
see.
random bitch.
I
in
was like,
Japan is no
this
longer
lady,
important.
like he manages to hop out of fantasy world and track her down, be
Nah,
like,
man,
that lady
she
stabbed me.
She just Fishigi Yugi's into it. Don't even worry
But-
about it.
Yeah, he gets stabbed, and as he's bleeding to death, because he saves his Kohai, and Kohai's like, "I hated you, and I brought my fiance here to piss you off." As he's bleeding to death, and while this character's bleeding to death, he's gaining skills like Kumoko,
Yeah.
gaining skills as he's dying, and he's trying to understand his last time of being alive, and he's trying to understand what they're saying to him. They're like, "We're so sorry," and blah 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 blah. And he's like, "What?" And he hears a voice in his head, pain nullity gained, and poison resistance gained, and all this shit. Yeah, he's a slime. He also doesn't feel pain. Fun
That's
fact.
important.
He
that
doesn't
probably is
feel-
involved in why he can name so many things.
He doesn't feel much of anything, to be frank. Like he doesn't even see. Like when he is born into this world with alone, just great sage in his head, which is a skill, and skills are very important later.
Isn't he just like at the bottom of a lake?
Bottom of like a pond in a cave,
Cave pond.
and like really, basically, he doesn't understand why he's there. He can't see, he doesn't see, and he's just like roaming the floor, like rolling around. He's like, "I don't have any arms, nothing. What's going on?" And he's like, "What is this, grass?" And then he's like, "I guess I'll try to bite it. I don't have a mouth," so he just kind of absorbs it in his body. So he's just at the bottom of a pond, just absorbing grass for like God knows how long, like a long time. Like we assume it's a short time, but basically he doesn't have a sense of time. He's blind. He
Yeah.
doesn't know.
You can't tell.
No, I mean, it's a cave. A pond in a cave has got to be like the darkest darkness I can imagine. Like that's
Well, I mean, without eyes, he doesn't really
Yeah.
care if there's light.
But time goes by, and Great Sage helps him figure things out. He gains the ability to sense around him and all this stuff. And he walks up and he sees his homie there. This goes back to naming, by the way. the future once homie, the storm dragon, the Veldora, a dragon that hundreds of years ago rampaged across the planet because all he liked to do was fight because he was bored of everything. That's all he wanted to do. I just want to fight things. What's this? I'm fighting it. Doesn't matter. That was a problem because then a hero, a once in history hero showed up. Couldn't beat him because you can't kill Veldora because he's a savage. But she used her skill. She had a ultimate skill, and his skill locked him in place forever. He could never leave his location at the back of this cave.
The worst.
And he's been there for years.
The worst spell you could use on someone who is doing things to escape boredom.
Yes. Well, also, like, fuck you, immortal. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Live at the back of this cave. Don't do anything.
Either
like,
that or launch him into space.
Yeah. So I'm going to use this ability, my skill, which controls time and space and shit, and lock you in place forever. You will never break this out unless you figure some shit out. But that's where our main character shows up, and he rolls up. His little slime rolls up to this dragon. The dragon looks at him confused because nothing in this cave has the cojones to come up to Veldora, a storm dragon.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he doesn't have any knowledge of the world.
He don't care. And he shows up.
Does he even know a dragon's there?
I mean, he can sense it, but he's like curious because he hadn't talked to anything. So he walks up, and I'm going to give you some information. Veldora is so powerful that the casual magic radiating off of his body is spawning in living creatures to exist.
Goddamn.
Just the nature and the energy
parallels to JoJo's
just makes them exist. So basically, you would assume that this slime that showed up at the bottom of this pond is just a product of the magical power emanating off of Veldora.
Sure.
So this thing walks up to him, and he can't talk. And Veldora is like, looks at it and goes to talk, and then it hits him. So starts communicating with telepathy because Veldora can do that. Veldora has tons of skills.
Well, of course.
And he's like, I'm going to communicate with you this. And they start having a conversation. And through this conversation, they become bros. Like super bros.
I want to be bros with a dragon?
And the dragon is like, I find this slime super interesting. So he names him. So Veldora names our little slime, and he becomes Remuru, right? So the slime is like, we're going to be brothers. We're brothers now. So I'm going to name you, my friend. But he's like, I already have a name. I'm going to give you a last name. We can share last names because we're brothers. So he names Veldora, last name, Tempest. And Remuru's last name is now Tempest. So now they both have two names.
Wait, okay.
So this slime, just born, names the Storm Dragon. And the stronger a being is, the more energy it takes to name him. But somehow, the slime is okay. And Veldora's confused, but he doesn't say anything.
Why would he care? He just got to use another boosted strength.
Didn't he just name the slime? So didn't the slime just gain a bunch of power?
Basically, but he doesn't know that.
Oh, okay.
But yes, pretty much.
So is this like a Fusro moment? Is this like I'm so bored I would become friends with anything that is not making me be a cat right now?
Pretty much. And then he talks about, like, I've been here so long, I'm so bored. And then because our main character's been a slime so long, he's discovered that I have some cool abilities. Like, I can devour anything. And I can separate it. I can put it in a digestion area. I can put it in another area. And I have this cool ability called Great Sage. So I wonder if Great Sage can help you. So he absorbs his big homie, Veldora Tempest. That's skill and all, because Veldora can't leave. But Remuru isn't bound by this effect.
So he just eats him and then runs out?
He eats him and then rolls out.
That was an entire episode of Invader Zim where he got trapped working at an intergalactic fast food joint. And he had an alien eat him to smuggle him out through the detector.
Oh man, it all goes back to Invader Zim.
Yeah, man.
Not lots of Japanese people watching Invader Zim apparently.
I mean,
but yeah,
that's just, I don't know. That's force sensibilities.
He tells Great Sage not to interrupt Invader Zim.
No.
But he's like Great Sage, because Great Sage is basically a computer. Great Sage is great. He can answer anything, figure anything out, help him come up with plans to deal with shit. Is great. And Great Sage is like, he's like, hey, Great Sage, help me break my boy out of that magic that's keeping him there. Great Sage is like, I'll work on that in the background. And that's just the thing that's happening while he's doing other shit.
Just processing?
Yeah, it's just processing. And there's like a timer on it. And it's a long fucking timer. Like a long fucking timer. And it's like almost impossible. But over time, as Great Sage gets more powerful, acquires and evolves as a stronger skill, it gains the ability to free the homie later. But that's way, way further in the future. That's when the story starts turning up for real.
I love those long, like when you got the coiling dragon ring and you're like, man, this is a cool ring. And then like you find out it has powers. And then like way later, you're like, oh man, those powers we thought were cool were shit.
Pretty much.
And then like, it's just, but that moment of like that satisfying cathartic moment where that power is finally graspable by your character.
When Veldora comes back into the story, it is a glorious time.
Well, it's like, that's actually a scene I enjoy in other stories of this genre. Like the idea of acquiring something that you can't use or has to like sleep for a while and incubate. So it just goes to the back of your mind as it goes to the back of their inventory. And then just suddenly it's like you hear a timer go off while they're in a pinch and then the thing happens.
Pretty much. Like it was like, yeah. The skills like figured this shit out. He's free.
Wait, he just does it? He just does it? He's like, I figured it out. I went ahead and did it.
Yeah, he just does it, and it happens. Because Great Sage put a certain amount of its processing power towards figuring out how to solve this problem.
It was like that PlayStation Home thing or whatever, where you go in and you devote your PlayStation to a certain amount of processing power. Yeah, it's like that. But that's what Great Sage was doing.
This isn't a bad squint. I'm just squinting.
I get you.
But yeah, and he rolls out and starts exploring the world, runs into things, acquires skills, meets people. But there's one thing, he encounters a group of super sick, like fast wolves. Like, I'm not gonna name these wolves, but these wolves are awesome.
Okay.
Oh, and he slays the king of these, the prince of these wolves and the king of these wolves. like would be bosses of these wolves. And now they got to follow him. They swear allegiance to him.
Absolutely. He killed the leaders.
Seems like the strongest wolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he meets these half orc, these orcs, whatever the heck they are.
Orcs.
And they join his village. And these goblins, they join his village. And as he goes to war and expands his territory in this great forest that they exist in, that no one has been able to claim because it's so dangerous, because the animals and the magic power emanating, because of the cave of the great storm dragon keeping monsters spawning here and getting strong.
Oh man, this must have been a great place to adventure.
But yeah, there are adventurers. That actually occurs in that cave as they're coming out.
I bet, yeah, because like a fucking dragon's back there, and there's like magical creatures
but
being made.
What ends up happening is when the dragon got devoured, that triggers something in one of the close countries, and they get their Adventurers Guild to send people out, because all of the powerful people, demon lords, angels, magical adventurers, all this shit, since a huge amount of magical power just got blinked out in the middle of that forest. What the fuck did just happen? Is Veldora free? Can he rampage? Is that a thing that's happening now? So they send people. They're confused. But no need to worry. The power vacuum that just happened in this area before super orcs can come and invade, and there's a huge amount of politics going on in this. So every little thing that happens ripples out into the rest of the world. And you read this for the world. The world and an interesting system, and the fact of how ignorant our main character is, but how powerful and intelligent he is at the same time. Because he uses his salaryman skills. Because not only is he a slime that's very strong, very powerful, acquires all this shit, builds a country, he has salaryman skills, so he's good at delegating tasks.
What did he do as a salaryman? He was just a manager?
He was just like a manager, worked in a business. He understands how to sell and market things.
Okay. Yeah.
And he uses that ability to delegate and acquire talent.
Sell and market things and work really hard at it.
You're telling me he's just a real good HR guy?
Oh, yeah. That could also, shit went down, he could kill a country by himself.
Okay.
Like, this guy is insane. So one thing about ultimate skills in this, well, that's what, to gain an ultimate skill is to become something on the level of the strongest on the planet. To gain an ultimate skill. And any skill can become that. Some people are born with it. Some people acquire skills.
Do you build, can you like build a shitty skill into an ultimate skill?
Yes. Whether it becomes an ultimate depends on, life-changing events. Think of it as a planeswalker spark.
Okay.
So everyone has the potential, but can they trigger it? Example, there's a guy, right? And he was lucky. He's another reincarnator in this world. He shows up and he's a giant coward, right? But his natural skill, his great skill, not an ultimate skill, his great skill is that of a hero. That's his skill, hero. Really. Like, he has all the charisma. People want to join him and fight by his side. No matter what he does, he looks good doing it.
That's a pretty good skill.
So he
Even
has
as
like
a coward.
Prince Charming effect.
Pretty much.
All
But
right.
he knows he is full of shit. But people keep following him and people keep coming to him and giving him tasks to do. And it's like, I've been sent here by a country to slay you, Mr. Tempest. I can't do that. You'll destroy me. And he's like, oh, come on, sit down, eat some of this rice, talk about Japan. And finally someone I can talk about Japan with.
Wait, he knows Japan too?
Yeah, he was a reincarnator from Japan. Yeah. And he's a giant coward. It's great. But like, some people are coming in this world with skills. Some people are born with skills. There's kids that are technically reincarnated. They're not reincarnators. Rephrase that. There's kids that are people are reincarnators like Remuru, but there's people who are just drawn here, stolen by portals from magic users, bringing them here to use their bodies as batteries to do things.
So, okay. So people from Earth are worthwhile to the people on this world as like magical
Batteries.
ingredients?
Pretty much, for different things they were trying. Cults like to summon them, use them for stuff, but there's more stuff in the background. There's a lot of stuff in the background here. It's very Kumo Desu Ga-ish, where I have to pick what I can talk about because there's huge plot points that happen. Some things are super brutal in the story, and some things are super happy, but like,
I actually wanted to ask that.
delivers.
On a scale of like 1 to 10, 1 being like Grimgar and how difficult it is to fight the monsters, and like 10 being Overlord, where everything is literally just like fall before me.
Well, this story goes from 1 to 10.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Yeah. Except he makes the main character of Overlord look like a little bitch. Like, it's brutal.
The main character of Overlord was the furthest thing from a little bitch. Well, no. He was a little bitch a couple times.
No. He makes him at his most. Like, super buffed up Ainz is nothing compared to this guy.
Wow.
Intense.
And it's actually insane. And there's a bunch of people like this, bunch of demon lords. There's a point where he starts fighting other people with ultimate skills like him when he acquires his ultimate skill. And those fights are intense, where people are setting up like traps on traps, stopping instant teleport. It's like, imagine a epic level wizard from D&D versus an epic level wizard from D&D, and they all have epic level barbarian levels too. And they're fighting and they're planning things. It's like, I selected this circle to black out all magical abilities. It's fine. My ultimate skill purifies everything. So anything in front of me gets murdered by this laser that I can control while mind controlling your teammates. By the way, everything I kill joins me permanently. Like, it's insane. One guy has the ability called Gluttony, where anything he touches either bends to his will. If they're loyal, he can convert your loyalty. So if you're loyal to someone deeply, I can flip it so their loyalty is not for me. And it wasn't work if they're disloyal.
Jealous.
If they're disloyal, it won't work. But if they're loyal, your followers loved you. That was a weakness.
That's rough. Oh, that's real rough.
Yeah, and then he'll do it, and then the whole time he's doing it, he's making them work for you. You not knowing that they've been changed. There's no way you would know until you get stabbed in the back.
A spy is like 4 times more useful if your opponent doesn't know they're a spy.
Yeah. So, like, it's crazy powers. And think about JoJo's and how these skills are. Some skills are, you're just really good at reading. That's a skill. That's a basic skill someone can have, just good at reading. And they can turn that into something monstrous.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's real cool.
Like the appraised skill in, was that Kumo Desu Ga that we were talking about? Where the appraised skill got really out of hand?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Everything
can reach its final proportion, but some things just have crazy potential. And some people have stuff like Great Sage, where Great Sage has limitless potential, because Great Sage is just a computer. It can do anything. If you put enough time, effort in, you can acquire anything.
Okay, so I do want to ask, a lot of reincarnated stories, the main character has a goal that they're given and a goal that they have, like just a driving force as to why they're doing the thing. So like in Tate no Yusha, it's more of like he wants to go home because he just doesn't. He wants to finish the job he's summoned for so he can go home. So what does he want?
Rimuru at first just wants to be comfortable.
That sounds like a noble goal.
So basically, he made sure to make the country and get Japanese food, and then once he ate Japanese food, he was like, "Now what?"
Yeah,
pretty much. It was always about doing something to generate more income for Tempest, which is the first monster country.
Well, I mean, yeah, if it's run by the double named slime and the double named storm dragon, I would suspect so.
And did he makes because he had saved the dwarven country and did stuff with the dwarves, so in our first arc, that was his first trading partner. He made a pact of friendship with them, and the Goblin King showed up on his griffins, and then they set up teleportation gates and stuff. But he commissioned the dwarfs, and he got this fairy lady who has a bunch of golems and shit that he built for her because he provides the ability to do it. But they're like, you know what? I'm going to build a dungeon for her because she only do this in the dungeon, and I'm going to set levels of the dungeon. I'm going to design a necklace they can wear that if they die in the dungeon, it comes back to the top and doesn't actually die.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
If they don't buy these beads, they get the beads free the first time. Then after they have to pay for it to generate income. Also, let's build hotels here to get people in people to come here.
So they run Sim Dungeon?
It's a recreation dungeon.
They have 100 floors. They just designed 100 floors. He puts all of he created the guy who became a blacksmith, put all of his felt creations in there, and then the really good shit he himself designed, he put in there. He's like, come down here, reach it, tell your friends, come back, generate more tourism to his country.
Are there prizes?
Is one of the floors
all the artifacts and weapons and shit that they hid in there.
And then they use that. Also, they take there was a point where all the druids and the Ents and stuff went to war, and he saved them, so they joined his country. So he named all of them, and he's like, guess what? You guys are going to help out in the dungeon. So you're going to go to this floor and this floor and this floor, hold this, and then these people in this floor. By the way, he's named thousands, hundreds of thousands. So he gets so tired of naming that he's like, I'm going to make a system. How many orc children have been born this year? Okay, you're blah, 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 number 1, blah, 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 number 2, blah, 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 number 3, to speed up the naming process.
Oh, God. Does he have a group of Jomshis?
Gotta do it some way.
Basically, he has a whole orc legions that have evolved. There's a tournament arc where he doesn't fight. It's actually held to honor the opening of the dungeon. All of the great warriors and shit come there. There's demon lords and leaders of powerful countries and homunculi and shit in the stands watching the fights between all of his lieutenants and all the people who sworn fealty to him. All of his generals are fighting in this tournament to prove who's the strongest, to be who can be the main leader of one of his legions. So the orc that you saw a few books ago, who you get mentions of as he's evolving and improving from the naming and all the combat and shit, fighting against Gobuda, who's merged with the Storm Wolf from the first page, and their evolution. And that tournament arc is insane. It's one of the best tournament arcs I've ever read.
The tournament arc of callback characters?
All the characters that follow him. When he goes into battle and reaps the souls of the living, these people are with him, and they're all amazing.
So it's just a display of all of the amazing people who are just under him. It's just like, hey guys, do you want to know the kind of strength that is required to be a leader under this guy?
If all of the people under him have the strength to have their own to be kings of other countries, he is the king of kings towards a certain part of the story. That's in the middle of the book.
All right, well.
That sounds like a ridiculous, like a ridiculous power structure that he builds out of goddamn nothing. Actually, nothing.
Yeah, you have out of seaweed in a pool.
Yeah.
No, you have. This sounds like this book delivers on the promise you made last year of world building for sure.
Pretty much.
A lot of this is hearkening back to Tate no Yusha because whereas the guy didn't die, he got sucked into a book, kind of unwillingly. And then shit went down against him. But anybody he attains as a slave or anybody who is just tied to him just becomes a better person than anyone else.
Pretty much. anyone who has any run-in with this guy, it's for the better or for the worse, because sometimes, like, the bad guys, the villains in the story are also incredible. Like, because though Remuru is amazing, there's still at minimum 20 people who are his equal. He's insane. But there's people who are just straight up his equal, and the people underneath them are just as insane.
Behind every grass, there's grass, and behind every man, there's a man.
Where's that from?
That's a Chinese proverb.
Oh. I don't know Chinese proverbs. You know Chinese proverbs.
Idiom, I guess. I don't know.
Idiom's a good phrase for that.
Don't you call me an idiom? Oh, fuck you, Seth.
Stop being so indigenous.
That was a
Seth.
Bill joke. That was a Bill joke that I stole from Bill.
Yeah,
But I could talk about this story forever. And
But you can't.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't do it, Richard.
I could, but I would spoil a lot. And like, I'm like the only person who's read this novel.
I was going to say, this sounds like a great candidate for Treading the Path of Heaven Nights. But
No one else has
if
read
he's the only one
so.
that's read it, yeah, no. It's a bummer.
But yeah, you can read this at Guru Translations. It used to be there used to be another one called Circus Translations, but that died. So you can read all of those novels, all of those pages on the Google Drive they have on Guru's website.
Okay.
Nice.
They have like up to like chapter 200 something all on the Google Drive.
Okay,
So
cool. Well, that link's going to be in the description as always. You know how we do.
Please read it.
That's how the podcast do.
At least until the tournament arc and the meeting of the demon lords, and then from there you can stop. I am literally satisfied if you get to that point. That's it. Get to that point. I'm satisfied. I'm proud of you. You get a star from me. If I see you on the street, come to me. I will have a star for you.
That's usually not the thing people have ready for someone when they
I
see
will
them on
have
the
a
street.
star.
A pack of star stickers in your back
Yeah,
pocket.
I'm gonna go Walmart and buy a big ass pack of star stickers, like I'm buying it for like for kindergarten.
Yeah, man.
You get a
Banana
star.
stickers, like in Metalocalypse.
Ooh.
You know?
Ooh.
I
Banana
never
stickers.
liked banana stickers.
That guy was repugnant, but banana stickers themselves are truly a thing to quest.
All
after.
about orange stickers, man. Smell like oranges. Pretty good.
Aren't you glad I didn't give you a banana sticker?
Yes.
We talking about Cavendish bananas or the other bananas? What are those? Gross Michelle
Gross
bananas.
Michelle.
I know about fucking bananas. I don't know about books, but I know about bananas. Get me this shit out of here. Where else? You said we read
Please
this
meet
on
us again
Google
next time
Translations?
on Banana Cast, where we talk about our favorite banana.
I know two things about bananas. I know two types of bananas, and that one does not exist. And I forget which one is which.
Gross
All right, good
Michelle's-
night, everybody.
Gross Michelle does in
happened?
fact still exist. It's just hard to get them.
The podcast within a podcast, you know.
But what was next up, guys? Sorry for the Richard episode.
Let's
by
see.
the
We
way.
did Emperor's
No,
Domination
absolutely.
last week, so that was that'll bring us up to a Korea, and I think it's time to break out breakers, right?
Breakers.
Breakers in out.
All right, breakers it is. I don't know what that is either.
Oh, it's a good time.
Yeah, I'm
Not to be
dipping my toe
confused
in
with
thus far.
the Breakers.
It's real good, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Cool.
What's up with Korean novels and breaking things? Like I loved The Breaker.
Yeah.
And I like Breakers.
What about Broken? Is that a book? I bet that's a book.
There's a Broken Blade.
Fucking, is it a Korean book?
Nah, it's Japanese.
Ah, see, then why'd you even suggest it, Richard? That's not what we were
I
talking
could have
about.
lied to you and said Korean, and you would have believed me.
I would have believed you, yeah.
That's
not like he'd ever read it.
Yeah, but somebody would have
That's what I
corrected
want.
us. Ooh, we should adopt that strategy of intentionally saying incorrect things in our podcast so people correct us. Okay. Next podcast, I'm gonna say some really dumb, stupid things that you guys are gonna have to correct me on.
All right, cool. Let's do the other podcast joke of let's totally edit this bit out.
Oh God.
Okay, definitely.
Don't edit this bit out.
God.
Well, no, actually, no. Edit this bit out, or else they're gonna know about my deep covered trick.
Yeah, we're
to convince
totally
them
gonna
to-
edit this out, and then they can listen and be like, "Wait, but they didn't edit it out. I just heard it. That's
Oh.
crazy."
I'm going
Wait
to
a
edit
second.
out that joke.
Good, I like it.
That joke alone.
Editing jokes are the best. Don't you love podcast jokes, podcast listeners?
Podcast fans are loving it.
They're loving it at home, you guys.
jokes.
There are people giggling all across the world.
Hey, you know what? All the people listening get it.
Yeah.
They're right there with us. And if they're not listening, fuck you.
Yeah. If you are managing to know about this and not being listening to this, it was the sentence that is what I just sentenced is fuck you. That
What did you sentence it to?
Guys, I might be having a stroke.
Okay, guys.
Well, let's go ahead and do our outro real quick so we can get you to the hospital if that's necessary.
We outro, I just want to do thank you, Forfeit, for the recommendation. We've received it.
Yeah,
and we're gonna hit it hard.
We're
gonna hit that hard, regardless of though it is, as you said, very much out of our wheelhouse. But we're happy to do it.
Books. Definitely not.
We're not even close to out of books, but I will give priority to recommendations.
Yeah,
absolutely. We're definitely gonna follow up on that.
Request
and hey,
stuff.
if we hate it, it can be the first treading a path of hell, which I think you wanted anyway. So there we go.
There's a couple I want to talk about.
Oh, you guys got them? You guys got something ready for treading the path of hell?
Oh man, do I?
Well, I'm excited for that. I'll just wait for Richard to lay that on me off air. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to us again this week. My name is Jonathan Kenny.
Wait, tell them where they can talk to us.
I was gonna do that after that. Can I finish my ver?
I'm Richard.
I'm Bill.
Faith, Seth. Faith, remember how you got to do this last week?
I'm faithless.
And we didn't name anybody for 5 minutes of the show.
We started talking about Baccano and things got out of hand and I didn't know whatever.
I was talking about the beginning actually.
Oh. Yeah, no, that actually also got out of hand. So
yeah. Point being, thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please review us on iTunes. If we get enough reviews, we can get the potential to be on iTunes charts, that kind of things, which will definitely increase our chances of getting more listeners out there in the general public.
Yeah.
We definitely want to try and spread the knowledge of these books out to more people.
We know you guys are into it, but you know people that will be into it too, surely. So tell them.
If you'd like to reach us, you can contact us on Twitter at TigerCoaster, or you can reach us at Gmail at tiger.rollercoaster@gmail.com.
Or you can leave out the dot. That's a weird fun thing about Gmail accounts that you should know if you don't already.
Yes, it ignores dots. I'm aware, but like you said, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening. Please leave us a review, and we'll get back to you next week with Breakers. Excited to talk about it.
Tiger Rollercoaster Productions. Tigers are scary. You try to get off.